Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Death by Disney podcast. Today, I am talking about 1978 sequel, Return from Witch Mountain. Sorry. This podcast, I review every Disney movie. Yeah, and that's the point of the podcast, is just to review every single Disney movie and tell you what I feel about them. So this is the sequel to a movie called Escape to Witch Mountain. It stars Bette Davis, Christopher Lee, and Kim Richards. The plot is that there are these two children who happen to be aliens, and one of them gets kidnapped by some mad scientist played by Christopher Lee, who is attempting to use him for his own nefarious purposes. While this is certainly an improvement on the first film in the series, it is still, for the most part, boring. Vincent Price does his best as a mad scientist, but his eagerness translates neither into camp fun nor the sinister. Bette Davis does a good job as the female villain, but she isn't given much to work with either. The special effects are atrocious, especially when you consider that Star Wars had come out the year previously. There is one fun sequence where a destroyed vehicle is restored to its former condition using some sort of stop motion, which is delightful. The two child leads are older, but no more talented or engaging as actors. There are a lot of moments that strike an odd tone, and if this film were edited differently, it could qualify as a horror film. There is one great moment where the brother realizes he has almost killed his sister several times, and there are tears coming to his eyes, but that would not be a proper Disney moment. So in these podcasts, I generally give a bit of trivia, and I also read a negative review and a positive review and interact with that, just to kind of make this podcast more fair and legitimate criticism. So the trivia is that Bette Davis agreed to do this movie because she wanted to make a movie that her grandchildren could watch, which is kind of sweet. But then the trivia goes on to notice that she had 3 people tending on her on the set throughout the shooting of this movie, and I don't see any problem with that. I think that they're suggesting that there's some kind of problem that Bette Davis had 3 people. I mean, give her 10 people. Why not? Like, I think that actors nowadays have more than 3 people that deal with their needs on movies because they need to focus on the acting part, which is important in this business. Okay, so let's start with the negative review. So remember, I gave this film 5 out of 10. So not a great film, but not a very, very horrible film also. 2 out of 10. Excruciating. What a disappointment. Dull, uninteresting, unfunny, and badly acted by all, including Davis and Lee. The first film was a nicely constructed, fun, light comedy, only marred by Eisenman's complete inability to act. I'd love to know why he was picked for these films. Did they just pluck him off the street? As a homeschooling family, we did get one good laugh at the warning given by the truant officer. A child can either go to school or become a bum. No other choice. Now that there are millions of homeschoolers, we shouldn't see that ignorant belief voiced in any more films, at least. Sequels are rarely as good as the original, but this one could hardly have been any worse. Save your sanity and skip this one. Yeah, I'm about to say something very controversial. I don't think just because there are millions of homeschoolers in America that's a good thing. Actually, that's a bad thing. It's a failure of the education system. It's a failure of parents. Because to be a good homeschooler, you need to be a good teacher, not a good parent. And not every good parent is a good teacher, right? So I'm sure 1% of all people homeschooled had an excellent education. but you can't say that just because you're homeschooled, it's great and it's wonderful. So I think this line, I don't even remember that line, but I think the line when they say you can either go to school or be a bum, it's true. Sorry, it's true. Okay, that's my controversial take on that review. Now for positive review. Why can't I get to the positive review? Okay, 10 out of 10. Two children with special powers. I saw this film when I was about 10 years old and I loved it. Now 30 years old, it is still one of my favorite films. I have just bought both Escape to Witch Mountain and Return to It from Witch Mountain for my kids as they love it as well. They sure don't make good old movies like this now. These films are a must when they are shown on TV. There are no swear words or violence, which makes them suitable for all the family, whatever the age is. Good family fun. My mom took me to the pictures to see this film, and I always wanted to have powers like Tony and Tia. Mind you, the child in me still does. Perhaps that's why I have a passion for anything supernatural now. Yeah, I I don't know. Um, I never like it when people say two things about movies. The first one is that, oh, they don't make movies like that anymore. You could say that about literally any movie because they literally don't make movies like that anymore. And the idea that movies are somehow worse than they used to be, I don't think that's true at all. It's just maybe you didn't like that style of movie that they're making and you preferred the ones that they made earlier. It doesn't mean that movies are bad because you can find great movies. They make thousands of movies every year. So I'm sure you can find movies that you enjoy. And I understand why people, I mean, especially in Disney films, they want, they don't want to have violence or swearing. And I think that there is a place for movies without violence or swearing, but I think, and this might be a controversial opinion, I think that there isn't anything wrong with exposing, I mean, maybe not Pulp Fiction or something like that, but there isn't anything wrong with exposing children to a bit more adult content. Because if your child has never heard anyone swearing in their entire life, I think they have led a bit of a sheltered life, and they should watch those movies actually to understand the swearing aspect of it, of life. I don't think that children being protected from violence is necessarily a bad thing, and I think it's great if children only see violence in movies and not in real life. Yeah, so I'm anti-homeschooling and I'm pro-violence in movies. Maybe pro-swearing more than pro-violence in movies. All right, what did you think? Did you like this movie? Are you pro-violence and pro-swearing in movies, or do you think it should be censored? Yeah, wouldn't mind like a clean version of a movie if you want to see it, or a movie with more adult language. If you don't mind that, that's also fine. Yeah. Also, I don't mind having different versions of movies for different people. Yeah. What do you think about that? Did you like this movie? Do you agree with me? Should there be different versions of different movies? Please leave your comments in the comment section. Like and subscribe. Thank